good thing. You guys can ask us at least 3 questions. Yeah, ask away.
Yes.
How is it raising 2 Sagittarius that are like your best friends? Or like not mom.
Like the opposite?
Yeah, opposites. I'll go first.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's kind of cool because I get 2 of them, right? And so I get the older version and a younger version.
Oh yeah, the younger version is McKenna.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you forget?
Well, I'm just like, yeah.
And then
my brain was wrong.
and to me it's different. It's so different because growing, when she was growing up, I always wanted her to be this way. But her brain is like, no, I am this way. And she has that fire element in her. So she won't, if she doesn't want to do it, she's not going to do it. And so I had to learn in the midst of all that to accept that because she is her own person. She is her own body. She is her own whatever, creator. And how, like, over the years, just with all the things going on, like I've had to accept, even if I know she's going to fail, to let her fail. Because those are the experiences she's going to need in order to not fail and to grow up. So, did I answer it?
I don't know.
What was the question? Did I answer it?
I think you answered it as like I think you should answer it.
Oh no.
Yeah, because to have like raising opposites, I guess.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So,
all right, and then having Gigi as the older person, like I get to kind of see her because she gives me the experiences and will actually call me out now, and McKenna doesn't really all the time. And so when I see different expressions on McKenna's face, because I see it in Gigi, I'm like, oh, I need to hold back, or I need to slow down, or I need to back up, because I know it like triggers. And so being able to have Gigi as the older version, in a way, it's because it's more of human design, right? So they're both manifesting generators, and they have a lot of energy. They could come up with energy like that compared to us, where we have to save.
They're both projectors.
Yeah, we're both projectors.
Yeah,
and we have to like use our energy wisely and not overextend, or things could go sideways.
Yeah. Oh, cranky pants when you all go sideways. So I think for me, I use it as a tool because it took a long time to get here in our friendship. So now that we're here, I see the same as you. So I see certain facial expressions, tones, or if I can't read the tone properly, I honestly ask Lonnie. I'm like, Lonnie, what is? I'm like, what does this mean? Is she like? I'm like, I think it's this and this. What do I do now? And she's like, well, you didn't do this, and she needed this. It's like, I know, but she's being bright right now. I don't want to. So, but she helps me, like, I guess because also it's a different dynamic. I have my mini best friend and also a daughter, so we run that fine line daily about. Like with Alani, sometimes she'll do stuff. She's like, well, I just thought that was funny, and you just took complete offense to it because you went mom mode on me. It's like, I didn't mean to, but it did. But like, because that's the truth. But a lot of times we are friendly with one another. But I think she and I understand the underlying thing that I'm mom still. But
sometimes you have to remind her though, like I'm coming from mom mode or coach mode.
You taught me that like over the summer. Yeah. So, but yeah, I think I use it mostly as a tool. And then with McKenna, like, I think for you, it's exactly what you said. Like, it's easier for me to be like, I think that she's actually feeling like this, but her face is saying something completely different. But a Sagittarius, y'all, both of y'all, I'm sorry. Y'all crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, we're nuts too, but like, Alani is a Sagittarius and a Gemini. It's a hard house to live in some days. We got some fire, a lot of air, and then I'm
waving that fire around.
Yes, I'm freaking a tornado, so now we got a fire spout.
Mm-hmm.
It can get gnarly in our house, but
yep, and McKenna has me boiling with her fire.
Yes, from the south.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, I think it's useful. I use it as a tool. So, what about you, McKenna? What's the question you have?
You don't have like any childhood questions, or
how is it now? Like because y'all didn't, y'all obviously like grew up differently than how we grew up.
Mm-hmm.
So like, how was it like having to raise us
Oh, damn.
compared to how you were like?
Oh,
We
this
were
one's
just
hard.
talking about
I
that.
might cry with this one, to be honest. I could cry right now. Why you always got hard questions? That's a good question. That's not hard.
No, it's a great question. Above. Get us into the fields. Get us in the fields.
It's just different. It's different because for me, there wasn't a lot of love, you know, and so I had to learn how to love. I had to learn how to play. I had to learn how to do all the things. And I think now I still don't even know how to play. I'm still like a solo player, you know, I still play by myself, but it was just hard because I don't, you know, I do love them for everything, you know, for all they did, but there's no nurture, there was no like hugging, closeness, there was no playing, like, you know, like going like this and stuff like that. We kind of pick on each other. There's none of that, you know, there's none of that. It was just like we all lived in our separate realities in that house. And if anything, if anybody were to talk to me, you know, except for yeah, he was so good because he did try, but I was just disciplined all the time. It wasn't like, hey, let's teach you how to do this, or it was more like, get this done. If you're not, then, you know, so I was afraid to ask questions. And I guess for you guys, again, you know, I did bring that into motherhood because I didn't know anything different, you know, so the love I had for you when you were younger, it was love because you're my kid and you're my baby, but I had to learn how to like unconditionally love you. And I know that sounds bad, but and not just you know, like Adrian and Harlow and
That makes sense.
and just because I didn't love myself and I wasn't taught how to love myself. And that was a big difference for me. And I think that's why things are so different now, because I do love myself. And in order to love myself, I had to learn how to love you guys, and you guys mirrored me throughout the years. Again, with the facial expressions, with your moods, with everything. Like I didn't want to be that person you guys were feeling that from.
Yeah.
You know, like I always, even when we took trips, like I always tried to extend myself and do all the things, and then I don't know, like I was always so trying to get everything perfect,
Yeah.
and because that kept me safe, you know, in my reality and in my environment. But again, you, Adrian, Harlow, you guys taught me how to go with the flow. You, especially you, you know, and leaning like with Alani, and sometimes when she calls me, like it's cool to have that mirror, because I could kind of see myself in her when I do certain things or when I act a certain way. I'm like, oh, okay, I can understand that, you know, and you could do it this way, but that is the way I probably would have done it as a child, which is not the same. So maybe just take her advice, or, you know, because she does have your future, you know, in her heart for you. But I know it's hard. But anyway, I digress on that.
No worries. But it was just cute. Like this morning, or like we were like, it doesn't have to be perfect. And both of you were like,
I know. Perfectionist. You're like, yes, it does. What do you mean?
I was like, ah, it's fine. It's fine.
So yeah, I mean, that's what it's just, it's so different. Like I am so proud of not only what we have grown to be as a family, but who I am, who your dad is, you know, how everybody is just, they're so free to be them in our household. And we lean on each other now, and we talk to each other, and, you know, we have our days, but that's normal. And we've learned to accept that.
Yeah.
Your turn.
Okay. So I think that I echo that sentiment regarding of how I was raised, except for like my parents were extremely playful. They were very playful. My dad is super loving. Anyone who's met my father, they know like he's a hugger. He's like quiet, but you know you can walk up to him and get a hug. I think Alani didn't sit in a chair until she got almost as big as him. My dad's almost 6'2". So yeah, I think you're 15 and you just started sitting in a chair. Like she's used him for a chair since she was an infant. My mom was like loving in her own way, but she's cutting too. So I had to figure out how I still have a temper. Don't get me wrong. Like I'm what do we call it? Flash in the pan. I get hot and then I'm
It
cold.
goes away.
And then but the hot is hot, and then it like just slows. It gradually goes away. But I think the thing I had to learn is how to watch my mouth. I grew up in a verbally abusive household, and I mean, DCF got called up my house. So like it was verbally abusive, it was physically abusive, it was tough. I don't think I've talked about it in the past 3 seasons. So having to understand where all of that is coming from, like, and make sure that I don't do that to the thing I love the most, and actually show her as much love as I'm showing her, is a learned thing. And I've learned it from you guys. I mean, it took you a long time, but I knew that you loved me, right?
Yeah.
Like there was nothing that I didn't. If there was an internal truth that I can go to bed with, die with right this second, is I know that Susan loves me like to ends of the earth and back. Was she always capable of showing it? No, but that's part of our conversations. I'm like, hey, this is like a deep core wound. It feels like my mom. I don't like that.
Yeah.
And she, like, thank God she loves me enough to like try to change, but that's a huge problem for me. And I think that's part of what Alani doesn't know is like, you guys don't withhold love. That's not what even though it feels like that for me, that's not what you're doing. You're just moving yourself out of the ether per se. So you stop projecting. What'd you say?
Equation.
Yes. So you stop projecting, right? Because you're projecting all your insides out. And then I didn't know that. I didn't know what the hell that meant.
Yeah.
But I'm learning all that stuff now. But yeah, coming from that heat and that anger, and then no one ever coming back and being like, hey, I'm sorry. Hey, I didn't mean that. Like, hey, all that stuff. Like I say I'm sorry to you. I feel.
Yeah.
Do I not say I'm sorry to you?
Here we go.
You say it
Ding, ding,
when
ding.
I'm like, when you know you're wrong and I'm right, but then again, you do not say it when you see that I'm also hurting.
Yes, because I have to be sorry for what I just did. Not because if you're hurting and you caused all the hurt yourself, I'm not going to apologize to you for showing you your ass.
Well, no, that's not what I'm saying.
Okay.
That's like,
I'm just saying, like, that's just how I am built. And bring on the comments if we got to talk about it. Go ahead. She's laughing at me because she's like, let's go, people.
I think that, like, as a person, you have grown a lot in, like, the past 2 years or so.
Mhm.
But, like, when I think you see that times get really difficult for where I am now in life, like, trying to play volleyball in college, going through school, going through, like, all the hard times that we have as children.
Mhm.
Like, yeah, we're gonna get somewhat depressed. Yeah, we're gonna get very angry from time to time because we don't know what to do. And then having our, like, parental figures, mainly my mom, like, we don't need you yelling at us. Like,
Mhm.
it's just when you're also yelling at us and then we're also angry, depressed, and, like, having that emotional, like, wheel in us, and you're just trying to make it better in the best way you know how. I think that's when it's just like, you're just yelling at me because our emotions are high. That's what it seems to me.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. So, like, you already got a plethora of emotions, and then here I come because you've done something that was untoward either to me or maybe yourself or like maybe scholastic, whatever, right? And I'm yelling, and you're like, oh my gosh, woman, like, just chill out for like 15 minutes. Maybe I work on that too in 2025, because like, you have to know what you're feeling on the inside, and what we were talking about before, when you guys don't share for days at a time and we don't know where you're coming from, and she's asking you Susan's asking you like a million questions, and I go in after 2 days of not knowing what the hell is going on, asking you a whole bunch of questions. It's probably stemming from that, and then you guys, there's a cycle, right? So in order to break the cycle, one of us has got to step out into the unknown. So the person feeling the feelings needs to tell us what the feelings are, so I don't step all over them.
Yeah, and I can work on that come the new year and as a 16-year-old for sure. Because, like, what's going on right now in life, like, my life is just getting started. Come June 15th, like, my life is all that I'm putting my work into now.
Mm-hmm. You're right. That was a good question. Who came up with that one? I forgot.
McKenna.
Hi.
That was good.
McKenna, that was a really good question.
Okay, more questions.
Yeah, your turn.
Like, how is it dealing with all the preparation for becoming like a little adult and then having your past, like having us as babies and then seeing us transfer to baby adults?
Yeah, put it in the middle so we can hear her too. What'd you say?
I was just gonna be like, well, how, like, are you, like, is it sad, or are you, like not sad, but like, what's it called, like,
Bittersweet.
yeah, bittersweet, like that. Is it like
Are you
watching?
gonna say salty? Salty.
Is it like a kind of song or whatever? I don't know.
Somber.
But like watching us grow. Cause like obviously we're not like, well, okay, well,
Okay,
kind of are.
we're like, but then we're like,
Yeah. But like, is it different? Like, do you guys feel like free? Like, do you feel like that, or do you feel like?
It's bittersweet for sure for me, especially, when I'm looking at your pictures, ready to post and doing all the things. I do, I get teary-eyed and all in my emotions. But at the same time, I am celebrating and I am happy and I'm excited for you and your journey and what's to come because again, I felt like I was sheltered. Even though I did a lot of things when I was young as far as like, a lot of situations I was put in that I probably shouldn't have been, and so in that aspect I did do a lot of things, but I didn't get to grow up like a normal kid, so to speak. And for me, seeing you do that and being able to give that to you, I'm excited. I'm happy. I'm ready for you to, not ready for you to grow up, but I'm ready for the journey and to watch you do your thing in your own reality.
Okay. I've watched you guys since you're little, right? You guys made your own bond together, and I was scouring my phone for this picture where you guys met for the first time. You guys were infants. I think they might have been like
6 months old.
Yeah, 6 to 7 months old, and we were at the fair.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys, we were walking next to each other. And you guys reached out and held hands outside of your strollers. We have the pictures of you guys after, like just sitting there, like reaching out and doing whatever, but not that
Lonnie's
particular.
bald head.
Yeah, not that particular moment. She didn't grow hair for a long time. Like it's coming. It came in as a reverse mullet.
Yeah, it did.
And she had curls in the back and still no hair in the front. Like it was ridiculous. So I put a bow on that girl. She would wear overalls. She didn't like dresses. It was tough.
She was pushing McKenna down.
She
I was like,
She's like, what does that look like? Get down. I'm like, oh, you weeble wobble. Do it again. Yeah, it was
so
tough.
funny.
So when I was looking for that photo, like I was in full on, not panic, but I was just sad. Like not sad. Like I'm sad that this time has gone so fast and you guys are at a different stage in life and like we couldn't just, not that I would want to keep you there. This is cool too. It was just really sad to go through the memories. One, because I had to work really hard. So there was a lot of time where I couldn't be, I don't know, okay, I couldn't be around for Alani, right? So like, it took all of my being to make sure that I didn't do that for her through high school. Like I made that bet with myself and I was like, I am going to be there through high school. Like this is bullshit. Like I don't need to have it all. I just need to be available for this. I need to be able to get to a place where I'm available for this. So you and your dreams about collegiate volleyball, and I'm in there with you doing the work that I can do for you with you, or help you with rather with you. It's gonna be so cool. Like I'm glad for that journey. I'm glad that you're taking me on it. I didn't have any idea my life was gonna take that hard left turn, but I wouldn't change it for the world because I set a goal and I achieved it. That through your high school, I would be able to watch you do the things that you wanted to do. I'm glad that like I put us in a place where, you know, maybe we don't have it all, but like we have each other. At least I love it. You might not want to be around me as much as I want to be around you. And there's some days I don't want to be around you either, but still, like I like the fact that we have a choice. You know what I mean? That I'm not at work for 15 hours a day on the weekend, every
We're
weekend.
shuttling you around 24/7.
So
Calling.
this person, that person, this and that and the other. I mean, granted, yes, you're gonna have your own freedom and have your own car, but you even told me you're going to practices like until I get tired of seeing you, you're going like whatever. So I'm glad to be included. I'm glad that we've gotten to a place where that's our norm. Or like, mommy, you're still gonna go, but I'm still gonna go do my thing, and I'm down for that. I'm glad that we're there. I worry, obviously, that I've done enough. I think that every parent does that, like especially with graduation 2 years from now, and you guys are going to be on the road. And I know the statistics because I've been in the industry for so long. There's a lot of stuff that I know that I can't prepare you for. You have to go live it. But I think that you are prepared. So I'm less worried about that. I'm just really sad that it's happening so fast.
It's
Yeah.
It's happening fast.
Because
You're like, yes, it is happening faster.
you
go
guys,
faster.
you guys are like, I mean, you. I was just trying to make. I was trying to mimic your cry, McKenna, to her on the phone. I was like, do you remember? She's like, ah.
No, Ollie's like, ah.
Yeah, Lonnie was like,
Oh, so the first time she cried, I was like, oh my god, what is that? And it hurt. It literally hurt the inside of my ears. And then you did it all the time.
And I was like,
McKenna just had the face when she cried.
It's like she was exhaling.
I still freaking like that.
I was so staring at your pictures crying. I was like, I can't believe she used to cry like that. She's so big. What happened? I was bawling. I was like, I can't tell her I'm bawling right now. I can't. I have to leave. Yeah, but it was nuts. Yeah, it was crazy. Okay, one more for the road.
Okay. Mom, this is directed towards you.
Holy crapola. Is it about screen time?
How does it feel raising a girl who only wears dresses for special occasions, who rarely gets her nails done for special occasions, who hates like wearing heels and skirts and looking cute, but loves doing like mudding, fishing, living out in the country like a tomboy who is not gay? Just want to put that
It's the case. 6'5", hunting, single,
Still in high school.
39, brown hair, tan, like cowboy.
Looking for.
Yeah, that's at least 2 years of age. Yeah, 2 years difference at the very minimum. I mean, not maximum. Sorry, maximum is available. It was also athletic.
Yeah.
And funny. And maybe can cook some things.
I want to baby her.
Yes. And what is it that you want to name one of your babies? Like Carson? I'm sorry,
Okay,
that was way too far.
it.
So thank God I'm a Gemini. Because I like both. I love both. Not like both. I love both. Sometimes it gets frustrating, like watching the same outfit come out of your bedroom 24/7. Because she also likes shopping people. That's the thing. She likes to shop, but hates to wear the clothes. I'm like, dude, like if you're going to shop for the clothes, wear the damn clothes at the very minimum. Like, come on. That's where I get frustrated. I've come. It took me how many years though? It took me 2 whole years. I think I started getting comfortable like this year with the whole sweatpants and crop top and same shoes every day. I don't mind the heels, like the heels, the makeup, the lashes, all that stuff. Like I am not for that. More power to the girls and moms and dads that allow that on their kids. I think that's just too much. And one, you're gorgeous, so it's like it's way too much for me. But I don't mind you not wearing dressies. I just don't like. I don't like having to sit there and convince you to wear one when you know you need to, like for special occasions and stuff. Like, don't make me sit here argue with you for like 5 minutes, 30 minutes because you keep coming out here wearing something that you know you ain't supposed to have on your body, and we're going somewhere. Like, come on, dude. But no, I don't mind it. I actually prefer the fact that you are a little bit tomboyish because that's how I was raised. I mean, that's why I shoot guns. That's why I, know how to clean a gun. That's why what I know about tannerite and other explosives. Like, I love that about myself. I think it makes me unique. And I think that I evolved quickly enough where you won't have as much masculine energy as I did going into a relationship.
Right.
So, because that would be my biggest fear is that like I grew up like that, but I was also the firstborn and responsible for a lot of the house because my parents worked so much in order to feed us. So I took on this masculine energy and I kept it, and I didn't come out of fight or flight until 2 years ago. So I'm glad that I evolved quickly enough so that you can maybe just freaking go be yourself, and someone that's 6'7" can just pick you up and be like, shut up. And you're like, okay. Instead of shut up, I'm gonna punch you in the face. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas, like, the difference. I think we've talked about that too. So I think that the clothing and all that stuff is less important.
That's just physical.
It's actually the inner part of what you're talking about. Like, I'm glad that you know how to flip the switch.
That's a good question.
I guess I'll ask you a question. Okay, so you know how like when I was born,
Yes.
it was just like you and Yaya basically.
It was just me.
Yeah. Yaya was.
He showed up
He was
late.
getting coffee.
Yes, he decided to leave to go get coffee, and then you were born.
But like you didn't there was no man there to help or whatever for
like a partner
for a couple years, I guess.
Yeah.
And so like how was it to watch like me and Dad
like grow a relationship after a while? Oh, I was jealous. I was jealous as hell. Because again, it falls back to I didn't know what I was doing, and I just wanted to love you and be loved, and I felt I was smothering you because I could see it. And when your dad came around, it was like literally within 2 weeks you were calling him dad. And yes, because Adrian, did it, and so it was in your environment, and you're like, oh, well, we're always together. Adrian's calling him dad. I'm gonna call him dad too. And so, but yeah, I was super jealous because you were so like there was one time, multiple times, but one time I was like, I don't know, I was stressed out bad back in the day, but this day I was really stressed out. I don't even remember why, but you were upset and I was stressed out and I couldn't console you, and the only thing and we weren't even living together, but we had just met. We were probably about 6 months dating together, and you're like, Daddy, I want you. I'm like, he's not even your dad, but okay. But I was like, okay. So I called him. I was like, you need to come over here because she's calling you and I don't know what to do. And he did. And he just kind of stuck around since. And I'm glad, I'm glad that worked out. I'm glad you did that. And I'm thankful because, I was such a absorber and I watched carefully. I didn't know how to be in situations or in the relationship. I was just kind of standoffish and watching people be in it. Yeah. And I was just kind of reacting to it. So I'm thankful. And, over some time I got...
Because you don't even have Harlow.
Well, yeah.
All that and stuff.
Yeah. Well, yeah. But at first I was jealous, but I eventually learned to love it because it just felt right.
Sure. That was a good question.